Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Duxbury and Prep House Chapel presentation. Before I start, I'd like to proudly announce that the hymn that we're about to sing is hymn number 18. It has been approved by the headmaster and company for it to be officially the Prep House's hymn. For the excellent news, a round of applause. I ask Duxbury and Prep House to sing the first verse and the school to join us in the following verse. Our opening hymn, hymn number 18, He Who Would Valiant Be. Duxbury and Prep, please stand. Thank you. Please be seated. Today's main topic of our house presentation is the value of perseverance. Now, some of you may not know, but it was me who suggested that perseverance should be the word for this year's word shirt. I think I'm a little obsessed with the word, actually, but truly, this is a word that every Duxbury boy and everyone in this congregation should carry on in the back of their minds for the long run. I would now like to invite Will Harris to talk about his experience with perseverance.
As some of you may have guessed already, I'm here today to give a speech on perseverance. I'll start out by warning everyone that this may not be as lighthearted as you would expect in chapel, but I feel honesty will relay the most impactful message. Maya Angelou sums it up in a quote that has often been said in this chapel. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. I didn't write this speech to make others feel pity for me or anyone else. I wrote this to give an honest view of the nitty-gritty struggles people go through. I didn't want to water down this speech. Rather, I wanted to write a speech that was true and visceral. I've grown more over my 3 short years at Shawnigan than I have probably in the rest of my life. A few examples of this are, I've learned my brother isn't the only one who hates my puns. Mr. Fair and Mr. Venables quarrel like old ladies. Mitchell in my house manages to annoy every single teacher he meets. Miss D collects scarves at the same rate Mr. Fair collects new shirts. They could probably retire now and just sell scarves and shirts for a living. But in all seriousness, I wouldn't have been able to make it through my time here without all the wonderful people who put up with my ceaseless string of ridiculous puns and jokes. I'd like to dedicate this to everyone in the chapel for showing so much kindness, even though you may not notice the impact it can have on others. Now, I should probably actually start this before I get all sentimental and bore you back to sleep, like some of the speakers in this chapel might. One of the hardest things that I've had to persevere through happened in my first year at Shawnigan, when I was in grade 10. The night before my birthday, my mum called me. It was technically my birthday back in Hong Kong, where I live, and where she was at the time. I could immediately sense her somber tone and knew some bad news was coming my way. That was the day I found out my old neighbor and childhood friend committed suicide by jumping off a building. This was the first time I had lost someone close to me, and it definitely took a toll on me physically and mentally. In the same year, a close family friend of mine was diagnosed with cancer and pretty quickly had to start chemo. It would be remiss of me to say that only I found it difficult, as I know it must have been infinitely more trying for her. Luckily, she managed to beat the cancer and only has to go back for a checkup twice a year. In grade 11, my grandmother on my mother's side passed away. She had Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, as well as dementia. The hardest part about this was that when she passed away, I felt like I barely knew her. All of my more recent memories of her were from the nursing home, where she could hardly speak and I would be spoon-feeding her ice cream as there was little other interaction that could be done. After all this, I learned to become an expert in internalizing my feelings, never wanting to drag others down with me. I thought I could persevere through all this alone, which, as you may guess, didn't work. By the time final exams rolled around in grade 11, I was battling with a heavy bout of depression, unable to study or care about much. Surprisingly, I didn't completely fail my exams, which was nice. I only told my parents and brothers after I'd been dealing with this for a month, and they were beyond supportive. Over the summer, I was diagnosed with depression and social anxiety and started to see a therapist to manage my feelings. I learned the hard way that you can't just ignore your feelings away. They'll eventually find a way out of you and manifest as stress, anxiety, depression, and so on. This speech is not meant to belittle other people's problems or be a cry for sympathy. Like I said at the beginning, I wanted to show an honest view on perseverance, and life isn't always pretty. What I hope I emphasized is that you don't have to persevere alone. Sometimes you just can't. Shawnigan is a huge support system. The school itself is filled with some of the most caring individuals I've ever met. The support the boys in my house, teachers, staff, students, and everyone else on campus has shown me is immeasurable and priceless. I honestly don't mean to make this sound cliche, but there is no other accurate way to describe this. If you take away one thing from this speech, please just remember that you are not alone. Don't be afraid to ask others for help, as you don't have to persevere alone. Thank you. I would now like to invite our Prep House representative, Laura, to talk about Prep House.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Laura from Prep. This is my first year in Shawnigan, and it is also a new experience of starting another lifestyle in a boarding school. I'm very appreciative that I can represent Prep to speak in front of the whole school during Duxbury and Prep Chapel today. As everyone knows, Prep is another school system on our campus that is for developing international students' English skill. There are many English learners like me, and we are all from different countries. I'm a Chinese English learner who has been studying in Canada for a few years. Because I did not actually practice my English skills in my old school that I had attended to, that caused me a lot of troubles to really understand the deeper meanings of English. It is really tough when you cannot express yourself and understand the humor and the meanings of a vernacular language. Therefore, I would like to thank the teachers and the house staff who are teaching and managing things in Prep, encouraging me to speak more English, teaching me the way of using English, and giving me enough confidence to make friends with other students who speak the different first language from me. This really helped me to improve. In chapel last Saturday, Mr. Lamont referenced the mother of dragons in Prep. Now, the symbol of Prep, a dragon, has been approved by our dear headmaster. I would like to thank Ms. Ozua for designing it, and we are excited to unveil it to you soon. The reasons for choosing a dragon to represent the Prep school is because the dragon is the strongest and most powerful animal that all the members of Prep could think of. Learning a new language is difficult, so that we have to pay double determination and perseverance to achieve our goals. We admire the dragon because we are eager to be the strongest. I'm also appreciative that I have 14 friends in Prep that have spent almost 1 year to work and encourage each other. Prep is an amazing and incredible place. Thank you for all of your company, and also thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Laura and Will, for that. I would now like to introduce our musical offering for this morning. We have put a band together with musicians from Duxbury and Prep House. Reese on guitar, Kater on the piano, Tetsudo on the drums, Andrew on the bass, Alejandro on the vocals, a Motley Crue song. This will be performing a tribute to our home sweet home. Enjoy.
You know I'm a dreamer, but my heart's of gold. I've had to run away high, so I wouldn't come home low. Just when things went right doesn't mean they were always wrong. Just take this song and you'll never feel left all alone. Take me to your heart, feel me in your bones. Just one more night and I'm coming up this long and winding road. I'm on my way, I'm on my way, home sweet home. Tonight, tonight, I'm on my way, I'm on my way, home sweet home. You know that I've seen too many romantic dreams, up in lights, falling off the silver screen. My heart's like an open book, waiting for the world to read. Sometimes nothing keeps me together at the seam. I'm on the way, I'm on the way, home sweet home. Tonight, tonight, I'm on the way, I'm on the way, home sweet home. I'm on the way, I'm on the way, home sweet home. I'm on the way, I'm on the way, home sweet home. Yeah. All right, thank you, thank you.
I would now like to call up Ethan.
That's a tough act to follow. Thank you, boys. That was beautiful. I really felt that. That was truly amazing. Okay. Not nervous at all now. Hi, my name's Ethan Regan. Nice to meet you guys. And contrary to what I'm wearing right now, I really don't want to be up here. where I really want to be is in my bed, under my covers, watching Riverdale on Netflix. Rugby on BBC. Go sports. Anywho, doesn't that sound good right about now? Being in bed instead of listening to me ramble on about who knows what. Can we just get a raise of hands right now? Who found it hard to get out of bed this morning? Good chance. Who wishes that they're in bed right now? Looks like we're all persevering this morning. The reason I'm up here is because Duck's prep house presentation needed a 2-minute filler. So I'm the fill guy. Yeah. And if I speak in chapel, my English grade gets boosted. Right, Miss Boudreau? Yeah? Okay, sounds good. And we all know that one needs a boost. If you think horror movies are scary, wait till grade 12 English. Yikes. Anyways, back on track. As your newly elected Phil guy, I have written a poem, what I did not write last night. So, yes. Okay, here we go. When the past pains keep you from looking back, and the fears keep you from looking ahead, hold your head high, and the pack will lead you through. I am a wolf in a pack of many, persevering through the long, daunting nights, suffering in our silence no longer, firing our arrows of desire while riding our chariots of fire. Wolves circle to kill, our war song blazing, warriors vowing pride to our country. The lone wolf dies. The lone wolf may die, but the pack survives. The English provincial is coming. I would now like to call up Roberto Galindo to say his views on perseverance.
Thank you, Ethan, for that. Perseverance is kind of like unconditional love. You persevere through tough times because you believe that things are going to eventually work out. Perseverance is defined as the continued effort to do or achieve something despite the difficulties. This word is one of our 4 strong Duxbury pillars that play a crucial role in our lives, along with honor, respect, and integrity. We see these every house meeting hanging from the ceiling beams. Every day, these are reminding us what every true Duxbury gentleman should live for. Duxbury has gone through very tough times. I recall the roughest time was when one of our house directors left in my grade 8 year. The house seemed like a ship with no steering wheel and no captain to drive it. We persevered. I put Mr. Williams as the perfect example of perseverance. With multiple commitments, including Rugby Canada and the First 15s, and several PE classes, he built the steering wheel for us to keep on moving in the right direction. And then Mr. Ducalo took over for a few months and guided us to success to win the House Cup. And lastly, Mr. Doig. With a 100% efficiency rate, he took over the house and has led us for 4 years now. He's also one of the greatest examples of perseverance and an incredible parental figure for the Duxbury boys. Personally, without my 5-year brother and deputy head of house, Caleb McHugh, Will Harris, all of the Duxbury boys, Mr. Williams, B-Dubs, and Mr. Doig, I wouldn't have made it so far. Boys, you're all my inspiration, my willingness to keep going, and one of the most amazing blessings anyone could ever be given. I love you boys with all of my heart, and I don't want to think about the end of the year yet. Thank you so much for the ride. I would now like Jay and Greg to lead us with the prayers.
We take a moment to think about those in need in their families and in the world. Please respond to the bidding, Lord in your mercy, which hear our prayer. We pray for our families, we send our thanks to our families, and we acknowledge their roles in our lives. Lord in your mercy. We pray for children. We pray they may stay safe and feel love and comfort wherever they are. Lord in your mercy. We pray for those who help others, police officers, firefighters, healthcare providers, peacemakers, and soldiers. Lord in your mercy. We pray for health and wellness. We pray that we may stay free of sickness and disease, and that we will take care of ourselves and others. Lord in your mercy.
We pray for security in schools, that our students and educators may feel peace and safety. Lord in your mercy. We pray for focus and strength as we complete this year at Shawnigan. We pray the staff and students can find success as they finish this school year. Lord in your mercy. We pray for strength to be in the moment, to be present in all we do. Time moves quickly, and if we can stay present, we can draw joy from each moment. Lord in your mercy. We pray for perseverance to not give up, even when it's difficult. We hope to remember to be strong. Lord in your mercy. We'll take a brief moment to consider any other needs in our hearts. Lord in your mercy.
Thanks, Greg and Jay. Our closing hymn is the Duxbury House Hymn, hymn number 3, I Vow to Thee, My Country. Duxbury and Prep will sing the first verse, and everyone can join in the second verse. Duxbury and Prep, please stand. Thank you. Please be seated. This concludes Duxbury House and Prep House Chapel presentation. I dare that through unsteady situations, you all grow faith and keep hustling and hustling and hustling with a purpose. Persevere to get to whatever or whoever you love. Keep your head held high. With a champion mentality, own your days, all of them. I ask Duxbury and Prep House to stay behind for photos. Thank you so much, and have a lovely Easter break.
It would be remiss of me not to follow you, Roberto. Thank you for those kind words. And thank you to all of Duxbury and the prep and all the staff sitting in support of you. I've enjoyed watching Ms. Edson beaming away through the whole of this service with pride. Part of this is the medieval fantasy of the wolf and the dragon, and great to see you coming together today. I spoke in chapel a couple of Saturdays ago about the 3 C's, and I also added a 4th of courage, and I think seeing you, Laura, up here and the courage it takes to come up and deliver that speech to all the congregation is deeply admirable and quite wonderful. Thank you for picking the theme of perseverance and the honesty surrounding perseverance. I'm delighted the prep have taken their own hymn as part of their own standing at Shawnigan, and I do want to flag up just a couple of lines from He Who Would Valiant Be, but thinking of the prep experience of coming across the world into a different culture, into a different language, and the challenges that surround that there's no discouragement, and absolutely the prep, we're here in support of you. And that line, though he with giants fight, you are fighting with the giant of the English language, and we will support you through that. And you'll not fear what men say, and that you will absolutely labour night and day as contributors to our community, and I think we admire you hugely for that. Thanks also for that rendition of whatever, I'm a Dreamer, grade 8 Alejandro and his team, but again, a deeply courageous performance, even at one moment some air guitar, some violent hair tossing, becoming increasingly dishevelled, Alejandro, but thank you for that. And what an excellent high-octane finish to this phase of term. I think we're all a little tired behind the eyes, but you really absolutely pumped it out for us and lifted our spirits. So my message is, thanks to Duxbury and the prep, a stunning conclusion to a strong part of term. Happy Easter, everyone. You deserve a good break.